Hello, sports fans. It's me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke. And today, I want to talk about my second playoff series in one of my Strat-O-Matic leagues. Now, if you remember on a previous video, I detailed how I was under 500 during the season, had to win a one-game playoff against a guy to get into the regular playoffs, and then beat another powerhouse team. And in fact, let's see here. We'll go to league stats. Yes, the team that I had beat the last time in the first round was a team with 102 regular season wins. And my team had a grand total of 76. And I beat that team in 7 games. Now, you remember me telling you all this last time. If you don't, I'm sure you can find the video. The title of it is I Continue On in my league playoffs or something. But anyway, so I beat that team. 102 win team, best of 7. The series went 7, and my 76 win team beat him. Remember, after having won a one-game playoff against another guy who had 76 wins, just to get to that point. So I beat him, and then I went on to the next round, in which I was going to play my good friend who lives in Massachusetts, Chris Dufour. Now, Chris has played Strat-O-Matic for over 30 years, 35 years. The man knows his Strat-O-Matic. He is an excellent manager. He analyzes everything to the last possible detail, lefty, righty, who's the best guy, what's my, in this stadium, what's the best thing to do. I mean, he does analysis that I couldn't even think about, or don't even know about, maybe. So it was going to be quite a matchup. Now, I think our teams were evenly matched, because during the season, even though I only won 76 games, and, oh, by the way, he won 107. Is that right? 106. He won 106 games during the regular season. So we were still evenly matched, though, because during the season, our record against each other was 9-9. And I mentioned that in the other video, too. So I don't know what it is about my team where I didn't finish anywhere close to them, but still managed to have a 500 record against him during the season. It's really wacky. And in fact, as I recall, I think during the season, we each did better at the other team's home park. Although I don't remember exactly. That's just something that kind of sticks in my head. So anyway, I was going to the next round against him. Now, I gotta let you guys know that I beat him in 7 games as well. And it was an excellent series, except for maybe the last 2 games, and there was another game in there where I got beaten by, like 6-2 or something. The last 2 games weren't all that great, but we were tied after 4 games, 2 games apiece. The very first game of the series was Kershaw going up against Chris Sale. I had Kershaw, he had Chris Sale. The final score of that game was 1-0, my team. So I was out in front 1-0, 1-0 on the back of a 1-0 win, where my team only got 1 run. So if he had scored 2, the whole complexion of that series could have been completely different. So I took a 1-game lead. Then I think I might have won I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I won the second game. But anyway, I won. Well, I know I didn't win the third game. I think I won the first and fourth games, and he won the second and third games. So, but anyway, we were tied 2-2 after 4 games. And then last night, or on Halloween night, so if you're watching this video months from now, on Halloween night of 2019, I played we started the fifth game. Now the fifth game again was Sale versus Kershaw. That game went into extra innings, and it went into extra innings even though I had made the mistake of keeping Kershaw out to pitch a little too long. So I had I think it was a 2-1 lead. I think I was winning 2-1, and he got 3 runs off Kershaw in like the 7th inning to take a 4-2 lead, something like that. I'm sure that if Chris were sitting here, he would be correcting me on all of these statistics. But the general gist of it is that I was winning the game late, very late in the game, and then Kershaw gave up the lead, and I was losing 4-2. Now I'm losing 4-2, and in the bottom of the ninth, because I think I was still home in that game. Yes, I was home in that game. So in the bottom of the ninth, I'm down by 2. Somebody gets on base, and then of all people, Gorkys Hernandez hits a 2-run home run to tie the game up. And I can't score any more runs after that, so the game goes into extra innings. And I think Chris's team won it in the 10th. The 10th, maybe the 11th. But he went in the top of the inning. He scored a run, and I couldn't match it. So now at this point, he's ahead 3-2, and that takes us to Game 6. Now in Game 6. And I've already pitched Kershaw. And Game 6, I had Derek Holland going up. And I'm thinking, okay, great. I'm down 3-2 to a team that won 102 games during the regular season. I won 76. And my very best pitcher has already been burned up in a loss, and I can't use him anymore. So now we come up to Derek Holland. Little did I know 2 things. The first thing is that we scored 12 runs. So Derek Holland could have been the regular Derek Holland that he always is, and I may still have won that game. But he wasn't the regular Derek Holland. He was more like Nolan Ryan. And he had been pitching for me a no-hitter through, I believe, Chris told me it was 7 1/3, because I was thinking it was something like 6. But anyway, so yeah, he's pitching a no-hitter for 7 1/3 innings. And I ended up winning the game something like 12-3, might have been 12-3. Derek Holland went the distance, which was great because that allowed me to take a rested bullpen into Game 7 in case I needed it. But as it turns out, I really didn't even need it that much, because in Game 7, I'm on the road, and in Game 6, I was on the road too. In Game 7, I'm on the road, and in the top of the first, the bases are loaded. Joey Gallo comes up. Joey Gallo hits a grand slam. I'm winning 4-0 in the top of the first. Before Chris's team even gets to the plate, I'm winning 4-0. So that was a good feeling. And I think we added a Miguel Sano home run later in the game to make it 5-0. And I don't think he scored any runs in that game. and yeah, in that game at all. So we ended up winning that game 5-0, and I am now advancing to the ALCS in this particular league, which is kind of crazy. It's kind of bizarro world for me with my team to have come through all of this and get to the ALCS. And for the fans out there who have been following my channel, that's not uncharted territory to me even this year, because earlier this year, in one of my hockey leagues, I made it to the conference final. Much the same situation. I had the last qualifying team for the playoffs, and I worked my way all the way through everybody to get to the conference final. But then I got my butt handed to me in the conference final. So let's hope that that doesn't happen again in this particular league. Now I have been informed that, let's see here, league stats. I have been informed that I will be playing either the LA team, the Los Angeles Outlaws, or the Aspen team. Now, the Aspen team was 91-71. That looks like a team that, you know, maybe beating them is doable. Maybe. Because as I also mentioned in my other video, I won 76 games, but really I was probably more an 85, 86, 87 win team. I just didn't win 76 because I had to strictly adhere to overuse restrictions. And the way in which I managed my team throughout the year led me to a situation where, for instance, Kershaw didn't even pitch the last month of the season. So really, I was probably more an 80-something win team, not a 76 win team. So a 91 win team, yeah, you know, maybe I could beat him. Now, he's in a series against LA, the LA team. The LA team won 108 games, so he was even better than Chris's team. In fact, he wasn't the best team in the entire league, because there was a 109 win team on the other side of the league, who I may not run into, and in fact, I think he was eliminated. Yeah, I think he was beaten out. The Alaska team won 109 games, and he was eliminated. So, I find myself rooting for a 91 win team so that I can play him in the ALCS and possibly walk away with a win. Now, who knows? Maybe I beat LA too, because God knows I've just beaten a 102 win team and a 106 win team. So, or 106 win team. So, I mean, who knows? Now, the statistics from that series, I will say that we could go look up his stats, because that was the only series that he played, because he got a bye in the first round for being our division winner and having won 106 games. So he had a 196 team batting average against me in that series, and he had a 4.57 team ERA, neither of which is very good, but they're deadly together. But still, and this points out Chris's managerial prowess. He took a team that hit 196 with a 4.57 team ERA, and he dragged the series out to 7 games with a team that was putting up those numbers. So his best hitter really was Justin. Is it Justin Turner? Yeah, Justin Turner, and he only hit 286. And his top home run hitter was really just Schwarber, and Schwarber had 2 home runs. So, yeah, he had that was a rough series for him. And Miguel Gonzalez for him was the starter in Game 7, and he had was it in Game 7? I think he was the Game 7 starter. He had a 1271 earned run average. He gave up 12 hits in 5 2/3 innings pitching. And Barrios was another guy that I jumped on. The first time Barrios faced me in the series, he beat me, or at least put his team, I think, in a situation to beat me. But the second time was in Game 6, and I was all over him in that game. Now we go to my Washington team, and my Washington team now, after 2 series, is against 2 teams who won over 100 games. I have a .239 team batting average, which is also not very good, and a .344 team ERA. Now the .344 team ERA, especially considering I'm playing 2 teams who were much better than I was, that's good. But the .239 team batting average, you don't really want that. I do have, though, 14 home runs as a team in 14 games. And Mr. Joey Gallo has 5 of those 14 home runs. And he far and away leads the team in RBIs with 18. There's nobody is even really remotely close. The next closest guy in RBIs is Yelich with 8. And I want to also point this out, that Christian Yelich, for me, is hitting .224 in the postseason. So it's not like Yelich is doing me any favors. Apparently Gallo is. And so that's how the series went, and so now here I am. I am in my league championship series. And also I want to mention there was one game where Gallo hit a home run, and no, Yelich. Yeah, Yelich hit one of his home runs. He came up with a man on base. It was late in the game, at least one man on base, maybe. There might have been multiple, but I think there was at least one guy, and it was probably just one guy. On base, Yelich comes up. It's late in the game. It's tied, or like I'm losing by a run, something like that. And I was sure that Chris was going to walk him. I said, all right, yeah, Yelich is up. He's going to walk him. But he didn't, and he hit a home run. And you know, I mean, and that's how it goes. It's a hard game. It's a hard game to manage, probably, I'm sure, in real life, but even in Strat-O-Matic sometimes. Because, like I mentioned, Gallo led off Game 7 with a grand slam. So the bases are loaded. Gallo's up. I guess you can't walk him. I guess you really can't. I mean, you could. You could walk him and walk in a run. But that's generally not the best strategy. And especially against a guy like Gallo, where his batting average on the cards from last year, I mean, this coming year, he's going to have a really great card, I think. He was injured for a lot of the season, but he'll have a really great card. But last year, he didn't have a high batting average. It was like 201, something like that, 201 batting average. So you're thinking, all right, bases loaded. Gallo can really, really, really hurt me here. But more than likely, he's going to strike out or otherwise get out. So I really can't walk him and walk in, you know, the go-ahead 1-0 run. So, you know. But, I mean, decisions like that, you have to make decisions like that all the time. And Gallo, I think, I recall, he hurt the guy that I played before I played Chris. He really hurt him, too, a couple of times. Because if that home run comes up, you know, that's going to sting a little if it comes at the right time. And in the top of the first of Game 7, that's as good a time as any. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video and the discussion. I'm sure I'm sure that when Chris watches it, he'll be like, no, you were wrong. It was different. This was different. That was different. You were wrong about this stat, that stat. I mean, I'm not wrong about the stats because I just pulled them up. But like when things happened, how many whatever. I'm sure I'm going to get corrected several times. But the point was not to be dead accurate. The point was to kind of paint a picture about what happened and how I have managed to advance my 76 win team to the American League Championship Series. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. I will certainly update you guys, win or lose, as to what happened. I can hardly wait to see what happens myself, because this team is really playing out of its mind right now. Especially when you have people like Derek Holland pitching 7 1/3 no-hit innings. But anyway, I digress. Here again is my contact information. You want to leave me a note about my series. If you want to, whatever you want to say about it. Maybe you've seen other series like that. Maybe you're involved in your own leagues and you've seen teams. And really, I've seen it in every league. You see guys go to the playoffs with 100-win teams, and they'll get bounced in the first round by a guy that had 86 wins. I mean, it happens all the time in Strat-O-Matic, and really it happens quite a bit in real life. So it's not like it's that uncommon a thing, especially in baseball. So leave me a comment below. Ring the bell, click on the bell if you want to be notified when I have new videos come out, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Very important, especially if you want to keep seeing this content, and any suggestions you have for me, things you want to see me do. I have a couple of suggestions in the queue, so I'm working on those, and hopefully a couple of them will be done this weekend. And I also intend to be doing the next game in my college Strat-O-Matic college football season this weekend as well. But for right now, it's me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke, signing off.